Rick Larkin, co-owner of BCB Transport, co-founder of BCB Transport. BCB is located in Mansfield, Texas. We started with a vision back about 11 years ago. Big Blue, Brian Brzezowski, and myself, we came to the conclusion one day that it was time to start our own trucking company. So we began with 0 drivers, 0 trucks, nothing. And here we are today at nearly 300 tractors. BCB Transport today runs freight for FedEx, for Whirlpool. We run it for Dart, for Solo Cup, for Train Industries, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's. Our customer base is very broad, and nobody really has more than 10% of our business today. So BCB Transport has expanded in many ways. We've purchased some companies. We've opened up operations in Colorado, Oklahoma City, Carlisle, Pennsylvania. We are always looking for the right opportunity. Although we're a trucking company, what we really do is safety. It stands for be safe, communicate, be on time. Orientation at BCB Transport is really getting our drivers in here to get them to understand what we value. And number one, we're going to place value on on life. We're going to place value on the lives of our drivers. It takes a minute to understand that, but we're also going to bring them in and teach them how to use the electronic log, to teach them how to be successful. We know that drivers know how to be successful, but it's also important for them to learn how to be successful here at this company.
My name is Brian Brzezowski with BCB Transport. I'm a co-owner. BCB Transport is a trucking company that transports reefer and dry freight all over the continental U.S. We have brokerage, we have warehousing, and additional services, air, truck, train, plane, we got it. Some of the challenges I would say was, hiring drivers, retaining good customers, getting good customers. And how have we got past that? Well, we put more qualified people in place. We got salesmen now with 50 years of experience. We have a recruiter that has 25 years of experience that leads our organization on that side. So we put the right people in the right places to overcome challenge. For the operations side, on the trucking side, would be Scott Shapiro. He does all the trucking operations. Matt McClister does all the brokerage operation. Ed Eldridge and Jesse Rodriguez are our top salesmen. Brian Etchison leads the way with the recruiting. David Schumann is in the EDI department, heading that up. Shelly Brown in HR leads that department, and Rick and myself oversee all the operations from there.
I really enjoy the atmosphere that we have. It truly is a family company. It's our drivers, our office. Everybody in this company really does care about one another. Trucking is the backbone of this country. We saw what trucking did during COVID. When drivers across America stepped up in a time when the nation needed us to move product across this country. Listen, this industry is not going anywhere. We're going to be maybe a little bit more regionalized, but what we do is absolutely paramount to the success of this country's survival. Rick Larkin, co-owner of BCB Transport, co-founder of BCB Transport. BCB is located in Mansfield, Texas. We started with a vision.
BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. BCB Live covers freight.
Here we are now, 21% of record freight being rejected.
News.
Over in the UK, they have the Army personnel getting ready to start driving the fuel trucks.
Weather, traffic.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to some traffic and weather with Buckle Up Bob.
And most importantly, safety.
You can do many things to communicate that you are slowing down. You can flip your hazards on.
Expect craziness like this all the time.
75% of these fatal accidents involving these trucks are with the first two, and it's the driving too fast and tailgating. If this driver hadn't slowed down, this could have been a whole different outcome.
Tune in weekdays from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can watch BCB Live through LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today and follow BCB Live.
music to rock at to start the show off with, folks.
Yeah, that's better than caffeine this morning, I'm telling you.
I like this, baby. A little bit of rock and roll, a little bit of safety strut, because that's what it's about right now. And, I think we got to just wait this song out, if I remember right. I don't think there's anything we can do, so we'll just kind of play it a little bit, show the world what's going on, so we're not talking over the music. So give me a chance to put you up here. There's Dale.
Hey, there I am.
Got almost, it's almost over. There we go. And you're on, sir.
Hey, all right, good morning. Good Saturday morning. Welcome, everybody, to the Safety Show on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. I love that intro music right there. So a great Saturday morning, a very cool one here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. What do you got planned for today, Sir Rick?
You know, I got a buddy of mine's, they're having... I guess it's a cornhole tournament, so we're going to go do a little bag throwing today, bag tossing over at the University of Texas Arlington. Him and I, there's like I guess he called me last night. There's about 100 teams involved, and it's we're not expected to win it. We're not favorites by any stretch of the mean, but we're going to go out there, have a little fun, raise some money for charities. I believe it's for the women's softball team out there. Very good team. His daughter plays for it, so gonna have a great time. Kendra's out on a ladies' weekend, so I won't get. I'll see her Sunday. So when it's a woman's weekend out, then that means it's a guy's weekend at my house. So I'm sure there'll be something going on.
There you go. Hey, is that tournament going to be on ESPN? Because
yeah,
on the Ocho.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to cut to the. If it's going to make the ESPN, maybe like ESPN 20. You know, like way down there, just in case everything else goes on. What do you got going on, sir?
You know, I don't have a whole lot going on this weekend. My son from College Station is up, and so I got both boys in the house this weekend, and so we'll probably just hang out and go do something this evening. Maybe go find a craft brewery this evening and just kind of hang out, see what's going on in Mansfield tonight. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I know last weekend we had the Veterans Day Parade last Sunday here in Mansfield. That was kind of cool. They'll go downtown a little bit, check it out. Not a lot going on yet, but lots on the menu. It's going to be that Mansfield, Texas downtown. It's going to be a pretty cool place. Just going to take about another year and a half, but lots of small shops down there. But you do have a great hamburger place. They got some music, I think, even playing on the weekends now.
Yep.
Beer brewery, if that's into your thing, there's one down there. There's a couple down there as well. So just enjoy Mansfield for all that it is, and make it happen. Dale, I see we got, if I look behind you, looks like we got a decent, how's that weather? A lot of wind, it looks like, maybe?
Yeah, we got a lot of wind, and I'm not going to give the 3-month version of weather today. I'm going to keep it a little bit shorter today. But now we'll start out. You know, the winds are still way out there and way intense. And I was looking at Wyoming this morning. They still have parts of Interstate 80 restricted to light loads and high-profile vehicles because of the winds that are out there. If you go on a website, Wyoming has a great road website to check out, where the winds are and what's restricted. We can give you a lot of great weather and information here. But if you go online to the different websites, they can give you the more detailed and right where you're at and get a better idea of it. So yeah, looking at the weather, Rick, we're looking, and the winds have just really been intense all the way up from Denver all the way up through Wyoming, and now it's starting to expand a little bit up into Montana, and so that's what we got going on. Fortunately, the winds that were an issue in the Midwest, the upper Midwest, have seemed to dissipated and died down a little bit. And so that's good news there. And so let's just kick it ahead, see what happens this afternoon, see if we die down a little bit. And as you can see, what I was talking about up in Denver, Wyoming, Colorado, it just seems to keep growing up there, just getting more intense. And I know I was looking at there were some gusts up there in Wyoming. They were predicting around 60 miles an hour up there around that Elk Mountain area. So, if you're in the area and you're light, you should shut down. You need to shut down because, like I said, there are some restrictions going on there. And we see the wind starting to trail down all the way into New Mexico. So wind is still the big weather maker right now. We go into tomorrow morning, and it has lightened up overnight hours tonight over into the tomorrow morning. The winds do lighten up out in the northwest, but they seem to intensify back into Iowa. So Yes, sir.
Awesome. Hey, I see we got Brian Winshauer. Winshauer, you out there participating in some of that wind?
No, sir. Actually, I was just writing a message or trying to dictate a message. I apologize, sir. My message was going to be a reminder that most states that actually have routine weather issues prescribe to the 511 system. So you don't, if you're driving, you don't even necessarily have to go to the website. Just dial 511 in the state you're in and you will get real-time weather and road conditions. That's all. Sorry.
All right. No, love that information. If I knew that, I forgot it, so I do appreciate that myself. I'll remember that. Appreciate that. And Dale, looks like you may have we got a backup for you now if you're out of here. We got Mr. Winshauer coming live from wherever he is. Hey, Brian, appreciate that information as always, sir. And that's what this show is about. If you have information, let us know. Let us share it with us so we can get better. All of us can use the technology and some of the knowledge that each and every one of you have. Sir Kellen, back to you.
All right, and again, that is, Rick, what you just said. I'll just echo that. That is so great. That's one of the things I love about this show is the opportunity to learn and learn from what the professionals out there are doing and what they know in the tips of the trade. And so, Brian, thanks for calling that in. So let's take a look at some rain and thunder or precipitation per se, and we'll kick it back to right where we're at. Not a lot of precip going on. If you're up in North Dakota, I don't believe we have any trucks up there, but be aware there is some freezing rain going up in the North Dakota area. The other area of precipitation is out in West Virginia, stretching from the Tennessee-North Carolina border up through West Virginia and into Pennsylvania. Looks like this morning they may be seeing some snowflakes. I'm sure it's probably the higher elevations. Nevertheless, be aware of that as the roads, bridges and overpasses freeze first. And so if you're out in that area, definitely be aware of that. So we go into the afternoon with some precip. And then, if you're up in the upper Midwest, Minnesota and North Dakota are definitely going to get some snow this afternoon. Almost all of Minnesota is predicted to get snow by later in the afternoon. And then the other area that we're talking about out in West Virginia, that has shifted up into the northeast. Looks like New York and New Hampshire, Connecticut, those people will be getting some rain, maybe some snowflakes up in the upper elevations. I know there's some skiing out there, so that's probably good news for those folks. And as we go to tomorrow morning, the snow we were talking about up in Minnesota shifts over into Wisconsin. So tomorrow morning, Wisconsin, Michigan, and down into Ohio. So tomorrow morning when you wake up or when you start your day around the 8 o'clock hour, be aware Wisconsin, almost all of Michigan, and Columbus are going to have some precipitation, and it looks like it's going to come down in the form of those white snowflakes. So that kind of gives you an idea what's going on with the weather today. Not a lot, but the winds are the major thing. So like I said, if you're loaded light and winds are an issue, either slow down, pull over. If you don't feel safe, it is always better to wait it out than to try, pushing your limits.
For sure. And then we do have some videos as well. I'm going to see, I don't know if I got them in the same order as you, but we're going to give it, we're going to start it off with the intersections are dangerous first. So here we go.
Yep. And this shows intersections are dangerous, the daily call out for that. And I know this is one that we go to all the time, but you can see there has been an accident in this intersection, and the two people are getting out. And so it's just a reminder, we have to be that situational awareness in intersections. And we saw it yesterday, Rick, where we were at a green light. And the driver paused, both drivers paused, and the car comes through the red light. Here somebody thought they had the right of way and ran into the other one. And so intersections are dangerous. Get that big picture. See the whole thing out there.
Yeah, when you're, and maybe the blue truck cuts it off, or maybe who knows what really happened on this. But again, what we want to do is always try to avoid the accident. Just because somebody's cut you off, and let's just pretend the blue truck, man, he just went out in front of you. If you saw it coming, you still want to try to slow down. Your job's not to hit him and then say, well, he cut me off. He shouldn't have gone. And while he shouldn't have done that, you know what? We don't want to hit him as well if we don't have to. So just a quick reminder to make sure that you're looking up ahead, that you're staying focused. And I do think this, Dale, when we see videos like this is in our industry, I think we anticipate some of these moves, right? A little bit more than, say, the four-wheeler does. And that's what we do. And again, we want to keep talking that up, and that's what we want to share, not only with our kids and the community, we want to share that ability to look out ahead, to expect that unexpected, because when you do, maybe this whole situation gets avoided.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, and you said it's not who's at fault, it's how do we prevent it? We got to get away from that mindset, well, I'm not at fault. It's, but could I prevented it? Yeah, you weren't at fault, but could I have prevented it? And that's where we really want to go. And by showing this type of thing, we all get to learn from it and think about that. So the next one we got here is, I just like this one. It is great speed and space management. Lots of traffic. You can't go anywhere. So keep that space out there. Be polite, be courteous, and keep it there. So just a great, just a great example of that. I love showing videos like this.
Yeah, and it's so when we see this again, we see we're coming into construction. We have the orange, we have the vision. We're slowing down. We're allowing, the ability. At some point, we know that there's 4 or 5, there's 25 cars, and we believe what Buckle Up Bob said, that about every 5, 6 cars, somebody's going to cut you off, going to cut in, going to take over your space. And what we're doing here is allowing them the opportunity. And you know what? Somebody here packed their patience, and that's another thing we love to see.
Yep. Here, great situational awareness by the driver here, because without it, this could have got really ugly in a hurry. The truck ahead of him is slowing way down and a little indecisive of what he wants to do, and he's going to make a left turn across the double white lines. But this truck is slowed down, and if you watch that four-wheeler come along, recognizes what's going on also, and allows this truck to get over there. Just great situational awareness, and taking a situation that could have got ugly in a hurry, and nothing happens. It's just some politeness, courteous, backs off and watches it happen. So great job here.
Yes, sir, indeed. Big trucks. Somebody's not unfamiliar. When you get to those split intersections, right, and we see where we are right here. Listen. We think we're in the right lane. GPS is saying, hey, get into your left lane, left lane, left lane, left lane. And he's like, crap, the other left lane. He or she in this big trucks moves over a little bit to get in that left lane. Possibly there's been some newer construction going on, just got completed within the last year. And, the driver just, when you don't go through some of these cities a lot, and even in the four-wheelers in my car, you get into some of these areas in Dallas, it just, around that 30 interchange, it just gets a little confusing. And you know what? I do like the four-wheeler right here letting him in, not forcing it into a bad situation, in which we do see sometimes.
Yep. And we're talking about construction and lane changes and stuff changing. And here's a great example of it, because you can see this is, we're in a construction zone. The lanes have definitely changed. The traffic patterns have changed. There really is no merge lane onto this interstate or onto the highway right there. And so, really have to be aware of what's going on around, recognizing, hey, we have brake lights ahead of us. We have flashing lights. We need to get slowed down. We need to be able to get stopped because something's going on ahead. And so we have to be able to recognize that early, and so we don't get into that situation. Some hard brakes are okay. And, if that's what it takes to get stopped, that's what we need to do. But in the big picture, we've got to see it happening ahead of time and start slowing down and owning that space in front of us earlier.
Yeah, wow. How dangerous is this right here? When you're coming into construction area and you're coming across this right here, look at this. It just, boy, you're just, it's typical, right? You're just merging onto traffic, and it's almost like there should be a stop sign up here as opposed to a yield, or, up here you see a yield sign.
Way out in front.
Yeah, way out there. It's just, what's a recipe for disaster when you come across these areas right here, when you've got to get onto the, immediately get onto the road. Those are challenges with with the oncoming traffic. And, God, this, for the big truck, how dangerous is these, right? They just can't, they got to really make sure that these lanes are secure before they merge into them. And these cars are all over the right-hand lane. There's not a lot of opportunity that we've seen yet for anybody to go, a car, let alone a big truck, to merge onto this right-hand lane. It's almost, you almost want to say, hey, no right lane traffic right here so that oncoming traffic can get on. Just a dangerous situation all the way around, especially at nighttime.
Yeah. Without a doubt. I mean, that's one that was kind of scary. Like I said, it's that change. And I did talk to the driver a little bit. He said that's a relatively new traffic pattern shift. And, you know, it's nighttime, it's construction. There's so much going on. Like you said, there just is no merge lane there. That is just a tough place to be. Here's one, you know, again, we talk about owning the space in front of you, that big picture, have to realize what's going on ahead of us. Video's not really good because it's pretty bright and it's tough to see what's going on, but traffic had slowed down, traffic had stopped. You know, I don't know, and the driver didn't quite recognize it early enough or just decided that, you know, I don't want a hard brake and so I'm going to go toward the shoulder. But we have to own that. We have to have that space in front of us and we have to be able to control it. And if we can't get stopped in time, then we're probably going too fast for conditions. And so we just always have to make sure our speed is right for what's going on around us.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, we see this. Again, this is just one of those things is that, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we didn't hit anybody. We did get in an accident. That's a great thing, right? That's always a good thing. But we just want to make sure that, again, you know, I always say this right here, and I've gotten better at it in my own car, is that, you know what, if I can't tell, if the sun's coming at me bright, I can't really tell if the traffic that's ahead of me is, I can't read their lights or whatever that is, then I need to slow down. Yeah. I need to back off. I need to get more space because I can't use that as a reason for me in my own car to hit somebody to get into an accident. I can't say, my God, that sun was right in my eyes. Yeah. Well, that means I either have to not drive, right? If I can't see, slow down until where I can see, get off the road for a second. I can't use that as an excuse because it doesn't make sense. If that sun is right in my eyes, I can't say if I got in an accident, well, man, I couldn't see. The question would be, well, why would you drive with your eyes closed? Yeah. You wouldn't, right?
That is right. So, yeah, just have to own that space there. And like I said, just have to make sure we're traveling at a speed that we can come to a stop if the traffic ahead of us comes to a stop. And this last one here, you know, talked to the driver. He said, you know, he was already in the passing lane and alongside when this just-in-time truck decided that he wanted the lane and just push us over to the shoulder. And so, I mean, you know, that type of thing, that situation. He said, the driver said, you know, he saw the turn signal come on, turn signal came on, and the truck just started moving over and there wasn't any place for him to go other than the shoulder. You know, the thing is we got to start braking. As soon as we see that turn signal on the other vehicle come on, assume they're going to come over, like he did. And so we need to brake and get back out of it and get away from that situation as quickly as we can.
Yeah, I mean, when we see names like that, and again, I'm not going to say anything about a name of a company, but when you think about this right here, just in time, sometimes when you have names like that, it makes one way, you know, it gives you the appearance that as a driver for this company that I've got to make sure that I'm in time, that I'm just in time. I can't be late. And sometimes, you know, the names of the companies when it comes into a lawsuit also matter. Years ago, I worked, you know, one of my first early companies was a company called Speedy Pete. And, you know, insurance companies, you know, we bought it from a guy. That was already the name of the company, Linus May. When he gave us that, when he sold that company to us, it was named the company Speedy Pete. And we got into accidents all the time. We were a contractor for Airborne Express. And the attorney sat down with us and said, look, you know, we're just going to say the name of your company's going to have to change. Speedy Pete just doesn't sound good when we go into court with these things. I mean, you're saying Speedy Pete, we're going to go faster. Beep, 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 you know, all of that. And so, you know, you know, the name when you see stuff like that just in time. Yeah. You know, it makes you just think that, you know what, were they driving to be just in time? And I want to share this last video one more time, Dale. So here we go.
Oh, yeah. That is just as crazy a video as we have seen our drivers capture. It is just reckless driving. I mean, call 911 at that point and let them know where you're at and tell them we got a four-wheeler that is just driving recklessly.
Yeah, we saw that. And, you know, was it drunk? Was this driver? He sure is driving like he's drunk. You know, passing on the right, getting into the grass, losing control, and almost, you know, spins out up there, and he continues to go. And yes, we want to make sure that we call 911 in that situation. We've got to get these folks off the road. One thing we talk about, and if you haven't listened to us on the show, talk about it. We speak to hashtag end the streak, hashtag end the streak Texas, TX. And the significance of hashtag In the Street Texas is on November the 7th. That was 21 years ago, was the last time we Texans did not have a fatality on one of our roads. 21 years ago, last Sunday, was the last time that we had a day in which we didn't have a fatality on the roads. And when we see drivers like this, Dale, that are doing this, the only way we end these streaks is to get people like this off the road. Yep. Okay, well, maybe he wasn't drunk or she wasn't drunk. You don't pass on the right. No. That's just, come on. All you're doing is taking a chance on somebody dying in your life or whatever you're going to, that party, that game. It's not more important than life. And when we see items when we see people act like that and react like that, it just makes you like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, just that hot rodding, whether they're impaired or not, just, kids do crazy, and I don't even know if it was a kid. Sometimes we just, we're going to try impressing somebody. Just watch this, and then all of a sudden, something you think you had control over, you don't have, because now you're a little too far out into the grass, your vehicle gets loose, you spin out in front of somebody. Absolutely, I mean, geez, that's such a scary statistic. 21 years. Every day a fatality on a Texas road. I just hate that one. But speaking of streaks, because we are getting close, that get out and look backing streak. Awesome. We are 4 days away from tying the record. That is 1 day, one back at a time. Every time we get out. Good
job.
I mean, every time we get up to back, we have to get out and look, and we're going to tie the streak. Then we're going to blow right on past it. So just great job, drivers. Just continue to get out and look every time before we get up into the backing situation.
Yeah, and I refer to the backing, the goal. We speak about that, and I know that y'all have heard it. And as we get closer to it, it gets a little bit more exciting, right? Yeah. We're almost to that streak, but it only happens when we get out and look. It requires action, no different than hashtag In the Street Texas. It's only going to change when we don't drive like morons, right? When we're not driving drunk, when we're anticipating, that accident we saw in the intersection. When we anticipate somebody pulling out, and we don't think just because it's okay to get an accident because it wasn't my fault. That's not the answer. And then obviously the one thing, put the phone down. Remove some of your distractions. Our drivers across this country, the drivers that are listening today, Dale, they're driving 500 miles and 600-700 miles a day, whatever that is, and they're trying their best to remove this, right? To take this distraction and put it down. We in the four-wheelers, we're only going 10, 15, 20 minutes. We can make it without the distraction of the phone. The professionals out there are going hours, hundreds of miles a day, and yet we can't make it from our house to school. We can't make it from our house to our place of business, then to check emails. And I'll say this is when you're checking your emails, whether you're a driver, whether you're you're in business, whether you're a four-wheeler right now, think about it. You check your emails on while you're driving. Nothing good's really, you're not going to see anything that's going to make you happy. Odds are you're not going to get an email from your boss saying, hey, man, just want to tell you did a good job. Yeah. You're going to get an email that says this went wrong, and now you're going to kind of intensify while you're driving, creating a little chaos, and it will show in the way you drive.
Absolutely. I mean, great point there. I mean, just got to put that distraction down. I mean, just got to take those distractions away. And I mean, like I said, when I talk a little bit about getting out and back and looking, one of the first things I used to always do is just turn the radio off and get all the distractions away, because I needed to focus. I wasn't that good at backing up. And so, I mean, I needed to take all the distractions away that I could. And so you turn the radio off and you just make sure you can see, but you got to get out and look every time. And so, like I said, as we get closer to tying and beating the streak, it is very, very exciting. So great job on that.
Hey, Larry, I'm sorry, Jeffrey Marsh. Jeffrey Marsh, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Talking about the video where Justin Time came in front of us, I heard you, Dale, say that the driver said that all he could do was go to the shoulder. That just shows you right there that we're not thinking the right way. And we're not putting the brakes in front of moving over or anything like that. And that's where we go wrong, and that's where we have all the accidents and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Thank you for that, Jeffrey. Yeah, I hear what you're saying on that side there. One thing, too, we want to look is, sometimes, and I don't know what was behind the driver or what the situation was, but what the driver, I think what Dale was trying to definitely say is like, man, you know what? I saw something going on here, and I did what I could at that one moment to back up. And, yes, great point on that. Don't forget, everybody, that brakes are pretty critical in everything. A lot of times that, we want to move over as opposed to applying the brakes. And I know that's what Jeffries is implying on it, and I get that for certain. You know what? Brakes are pretty critical. Sometimes we forget about that. We scoot over, we move over, as opposed to hitting on those brakes. I was going to jump to this because I know it's getting close to there. So Dale, I was driving. I got a short drive into work, and I always try to. I'm a music guy. I'll be honest with you. And while I'm not a band person, I don't go to a lot of things. I love some good songs, and today I'll share my song with you. It was I put it up here. It was Conway Twitty, "That's My Job." I'm not sure. Are you familiar with that song?
If I heard it, I'd probably know
gotcha.
it.
I'm not going to sing it. But if you're asking me to serenade you, I'm not going to do that. That's my job. And what I try to do and play are songs that make me, as well think of our drivers, out there on the road. And that's my job. It's, for me, when I hear that song, I think of myself and I place my kids and I thought about that today. I place my kids, and that's my job to take care of my kids, and that's what he is. That's my job. That's what I do. Everything I do is because of you. I kind of place that, and when I put the kids in there, I also, and I'm not saying any of y'all are my kids, but that's the same way I look at our drivers is that's my job, is to make sure that I'm taking care of our drivers, and that was my song today, and I played it probably 3 or 4 times on the way into work because that's, sometimes we out there in the family of BCB Transport, in the family of what y'all do out there, we need to be heard, and I guess what I'm saying that's our job here is to take care of you while you're out there on the road, to make sure that we are keeping your minds at ease as much as we can, and if we're not doing that, if we're not making your day safe out there, well, that's our job. But we need to hear about that so we can take care of that mind a little bit and reduce the stress that you have out there on the road, because it is critical what you do out there. Just that's what we do. Yeah. And it's just as simple as that Conway tweet. That's my job. That's what I do. I'm not saying I'm your daddy or anything like that, but that's my job. My job is to provide a great, safe work environment, not only for you, but for everybody in the back office, and to make sure that we're seeing that, because just like y'all know this, right? Sometimes we get that phone call. Sometimes you get that dispatch that you're not liking, that you're upset about, that takes you the opposite way. And sometimes we have that load here that it's the hottest load. We have to get it delivered, and we place that unintentionally above, maybe the what you had planned for that day, and we forget about it for a second. But when we make those mistakes, and it's never intentional. I don't think we have anybody here intentionally that's going to put something in place and to make you upset. I don't think we have a driver, Dale, that's going to go out there and intentionally get into an accident. I don't think we have folks in the safety department that's going to say things, argue just to get people mad on the road. It's not what we do, right? But when we do that unintentionally, sometimes it requires action from all of us. Somebody to call, say, a Scott Shapiro, or call Dale, say, hey, man, look, I was talking to my dispatcher. Things didn't seem like it went very well. I'm not going around their back. I just need you to hear me and hear my point of view, because sometimes we have to go to that third party. That's my job. That's our job. That's what you do. That's what I do. That's what Dale does. That's what we do here at this company, to make sure that we are doing all we can to take care of each other, because your job is to help take care of me. That's your job. Your job is to be safe. That's what you do. My job is to make sure that we surround you with with a safe environment, with a payroll check as well, right? To make sure that we're doing all we can to keep up with the pay, to keep up with the, even benefits and items like that. That's my job. That's what we do, and to do all we can. And I want to say thank you for each and every one of you for doing all that you can. And I want you to, I want to make sure that you know that, oh man, I'm looking at Justin Hayes' comments here. I'm just shaking my head at this guy. Justin. Hey, but anyway, hey everybody, listen, we're going to end this with a prayer. I want y'all to stay safe. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you again for all that you do. We thank you for looking out for our drivers. Love, I know you love them, and I know you love us. Help us learn to love one another and show that, and to open up for each other. Help us to protect one another, to take the needs of each other and apply them and understand what they are. Help us to be better communicators. Help us to be better friends, to be better stewards of the skills and the talents that you've given us. Watch over our brother Larry, and watch over others that have lost dads and moms and brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, friends. Lord, give us that ability to have the wisdom to do the right thing and to take care of one another. We ask all this in your Son's name. And Lord, ask you to keep us safe on the road and keep these streaks going. We ask all of this in your Son's name. Amen. Everybody, stay safe out there. Safety struck. We're still on. Here we go.